Okay, so we had started off with the second half of module 4, which deals exclusively about the satellite access techniques, right? So in this satellite access techniques, we'll be learning about FDMA, TDMA, okay, some of the power requirements, bandwidth requirements, okay, and the comparisons between them, right? Okay. So in the previous class, we had looked into the bandwidth limited and power limited features, right? So as we all know, the transponder, each transponder, the usual transponders that we have seen, okay, is about 36 megahertz, and 4 megahertz is kept reserved for the guard band, right? So we call the total bandwidth as BTR. Okay, so that was the important thing that we saw. And if there are k carriers each of bandwidth B, then the best can be achieved is k is equal to, okay, the total bandwidth divided by the each allocated bandwidth for each carrier, right? So any increase in the transponder EIRP will not improve on this, and the system is said to be bandwidth limited. So if in case we are trying to increase the bandwidth, okay, and the performance goes down, it means that it is bandwidth limited. So it is only pertaining to that level of bandwidth, and we cannot go beyond that. So we are tied up using limited amount of bandwidth. Okay. For digital systems, the bit rate is determined by the bandwidth, which again will be limited to some maximum value by BTR. Okay. Power limitation occurs where EIRP is insufficient to meet the carrier to noise ratio. So we will be, now we know the meaning of bandwidth limited. If in case I increase the bandwidth and the system EIRP, okay, does not improve, okay, then it means that it is bandwidth limited. Now, when do I say, or what systems are called power limited? Power limitation occurs where EIRP is insufficient to meet the carrier to noise ratio. Now, why is carrier to noise ratio important? It's important because we will have to keep a track of how much of noise and how much of carrier is allowable. So here our point of focus is going to be noise. Okay, so how much of noise can be allowed while continuing with our communication. The signal bandwidth will approximately be equal to the noise bandwidth, and if EIRP is below a certain level, the bandwidth will have to be correspondingly reduced to maintain C by N at required value. So EIRP plays a very important role. We have to make sure that it falls in the range. It should not be too high, it should not be too low. It should just be right in the range. Okay, so if in case bandwidth, if in case I have to really concentrate on power limited, then the only way is to reduce the bandwidth and make sure that this EIRP, okay, falls in the proper range, and then I have a good carrier to noise ratio. Okay, so the next that we'll be looking into is the downlink. Okay, so as I was mentioning, right, this FDMA downlink analysis, we have seen many sections. Okay, we have seen formulas with respect to carrier to noise ratio, and we have also seen the uplink analysis and the downlink analysis, and together we have seen a combined CNR, right? So we are going to revisit quite a few formulas that we have already seen, right? And just a new subscript, okay, are going to be added to see the effects of output back off, which results with FDMA operation. Consider the overall carrier to noise ratio. So which means we are referring to the combined carrier to noise ratio, which means it's a combination of both uplink and downlink. In terms of noise power rather than noise power density, okay, so we are putting this in terms of power density, okay, carrier to noise ratio with respect to power density. So it becomes N by C, okay, uplink plus downlink plus IM. Okay, so this is nothing but your intermediary carrier to noise ratio. A certain value of carrier to noise ratio will be needed as specified in the system design, and this will be denoted as REQ. So that is the required carrier to noise ratio. So the overall carrier to noise ratio must be at least greater than, okay, or equal to the required value. Okay, so this condition, you can see where the required carrier to noise ratio should be greater than or equal to the general carrier to noise ratio. Fine. Because the noise to carrier ratio, okay, rather than the carrier to noise ratio is involved. So which means, see, we have not taken C by N, but it's N by C. So which means we can call it as noise to carrier ratio, which means this is carrier to noise ratio with respect to power. So in short, we will call it as noise to carrier ratio. The actual value is equal to or less than the required value. So which means this required value is greater than or equal to uplink plus downlink plus IM. Okay, fine. So the right hand side of the equation, so which means this section, okay, the uplink, downlink and the IM is dominated by the downlink ratio. Okay, with FDMA back off is utilized to reduce the intermodulation noise to an acceptable level. The uplink noise contribution is usually negligible. So those noises which are, with regards to uplink are very less. Okay, but the noises with regards to downlink are very high. Okay, so you can just make a note of this point. Okay, where it says the uplink noise contribution is usually negligible. So thus the expression is remodified, okay, and we try to get another format of it, okay, and so this becomes, right, the required becomes greater than or equal to, which is only with respect to downlink. So uplink is left and the IM is also left, because these are very negligible amounts, and the majority contributor here to the required carrier to noise ratio is decided only with the downlink analysis. Okay. So moving on, we'll consider the situation. Okay. I call this as equation A. Okay. So we call this as equation A, and we will keep referring to it quite a few number of times. Okay. Consider the situation where each carrier of an FDMA system occupies a bandwidth B and has a downlink power denoted by EARP D. Okay, EARP, which is equivalent isotropic radiated power with respect to the downlink. So the equation now, C by N, which is your carrier to noise ratio, is equal to EIRP plus G by T ratio. We have seen this, right? G by T ratio minus losses minus K, okay, minus B. So this K is nothing but your Boltzmann constant and B is nothing but your bandwidth, okay. So it is assumed that Bn, okay, the noise of this bandwidth is approximately equal to B. So this can be rewritten. Okay, so we will write it as, since this downlink is almost equal to the required, so I change the subscript to required. Okay, so it is downlink, okay, EIRP plus G by T minus losses, okay, minus K minus B. So to set up a reference level, consider the first single carrier operation. The satellite will have saturation value of EIRP and a transponder bandwidth BTR. Okay, so BTR is nothing but the transponder bandwidth. So this is the total bandwidth as we saw before, right? Both of which are assumed fixed, which means the bandwidth, okay, and the carriers are assumed to be fixed. With single carrier access, no backoff is needed, okay, and we will be rewriting the equation. Now, one thing that you should remember is, when we talked about backoff, there are two types of backoffs, okay, the input backoff and the output backoff. So if in case I'm able to retrieve, or if in case I'm able to reduce my inputs, okay, then the output also will come down. Okay, so this is nothing but called as input back off and output back off. Now look into this equation where slight modifications that we are going to do, and this is all done with respect to this main equations. Okay, so we call this as equation A. Okay, yeah, I will call this as equation A, and I'll be referring to it. So AIRP G by T losses K BTR total bandwidth. Okay, so I will take this now all towards one side, and I will equate it with 0. Okay, so C by N. Okay, I get this ARP, I get minus becomes plus. Okay, and minus here minus K becomes plus K and plus. So I will equate this to equation to 0. If the system is designed for single carrier operation, then the equality sign applies to the reference condition. So I call this as equation B. Okay, so the same thing is followed, right? The same thing is taken up, and instead of less than, I just put it as equal to 0. Okay, now it becomes easy for me to calculate, when in a problem different values are given. Now losses, as we all know, is a combination of antenna misalignment loss, right? It can be when receiver feeder loss, it can be atmospheric absorption, right? So many factors are actually involved in losses. Okay, consider now the effect of power limitation, which is imposed by the need of backoff. Now, as we saw, there are two types of limitation. One can be bandwidth limited, and the other one can be power limited. Okay, so now let us consider, or let us think that we are limited by power. So suppose the FDMA access provides for K carriers, okay, which share the output power equally, and each requires a bandwidth B. The output power for each FDMA is given by. Okay, so as we all know, these days it's all multi-carrier signal. Okay, if you can see the modems that you have that's been used these days, right? You can see multiple antennas where multiple signals are transmitting and multiple signals are being received. So all this is done so that we accommodate data, and we make sure that the bandwidth is utilized properly, and the speed. So all these are considered. Okay, so how does it change? So EIRP, okay, which is for the downlink, is equal to EIRP, okay, and minus the output back off and minus K. Okay. So this is nothing but the set EIRP. Okay, fine. Now the transponder bandwidth BTR will be shared between the equation carriers, but not all of the bandwidth can be utilized because of the power limitation. Now, since we have power limitation, as I told you, if I use the whole bandwidth, a lot of power is going to be consumed. So I will try to reduce the bandwidth utilization so that power is also reduced. As I was mentioning, right, for example, if you consider 3G signals, 4G and 5G signals, the bandwidth requirement is high in 5G, and hence the power requirement too, right? So due to which there's going to be a drastic change, probably in the design of the cell phone, or probably in the design of the battery. The ICs are going to be thinner, right? And various technological innovations need to happen to cater the needs of power hungry resources, right? Okay, so we'll represent the fraction, okay, of the bandwidth, okay, as KB, as a fraction of the bandwidth, okay, fraction of the bandwidth, and we call it as KB is equal to alpha times BTR. Okay, so where alpha is part of or a fractional part of the total bandwidth BTR. Okay, so if we have to put it in terms of decilogs, okay, so P is equal to alpha plus BTR minus K, the Boltzmann constant. So when we substitute these relations, okay, whatever relations that we have here in equation A, okay, so this is going to be our equation A here. So when we try to substitute them, Okay, so what are we going to get? So C by N, which is required. Okay, so let's go back to equation A. Yeah, C by N required, and I had EIRP, G by T, losses, K, and bandwidth, right? So C by N is there, EIRP is there, right? Now I'm going to make use of the back off, right? Because here I know that EIRP is equal to EIRP minus back off, that is output back off, and K. Okay, so I'm going to use those, and basically I'm going to use these relations between A, B, and C. Okay, and I'm going to come up with this new equation, right? So it will be noted that K term cancels out and the expression can be rearranged. Okay, so I'll be we can make sure that the K can be cancelled. So our final equation, so what we will do is, again, we will keep them towards one side. So minus EIRP, okay, minus G by T. Okay, we will only keep the output back off, okay, and the alpha. So alpha is nothing but part of the bandwidth, which is equal to KB, right? Fractional part of the bandwidth. Okay, so minus K becomes plus K. Fine. So as shown in the equation B, right? So as shown in this equation, right? We have all the values towards the left-hand side, okay, and the right-hand side we are equating it to 0. If the single carrier axis is used as reference, okay, so this is going to be our equation where alpha is less than or equal to minus back off value for the output. Okay, so which means how much value am I reducing, okay, in order to back off my output. So by doing this, what am I doing? I'm trying to reduce the bandwidth utilization and ultimately the bandwidth occupied, right? The bandwidth occupied is reduced, and I'm going to reduce the power required as well, the power consumed as well. Okay, the best that can be achieved is to make alpha equal to minus B naught, okay, or BO, which is the back off. And since the back off is a positive number of decibels, okay, so we should make sure that alpha must be negative, or equivalently it's a fractional. Okay, so let us just see one example, one solved example, and we will be able to understand, right, what is the relation between alpha and back off. Okay, a satellite transponder has a bandwidth. As usual, we are going to use 36 megahertz, okay, and EIRP of 27. So most of the values are given here. G by T value is given, which is about 30, and the total link losses, okay, so you don't have to bifurcate it, stating which is antenna misalignment, what is atmospheric absorption. So in total, the losses are given as 196. Okay, the transponder is accessed by FDMA carriers, each having 3 megahertz bandwidth. Now this is important because I'm going to make sure that I'm going to play around with this 3 megahertz only. And what am I going to do in order to reduce the power? So that's my problem definition. And 6 dB output backoff, okay, that is the BO, is employed. Calculate the downlink carrier to noise ratio for single carrier. Okay, so single carrier, which means we're going to equate it to 0, isn't it? And we're going to see that. If not, what I can do is I can keep them on the left hand side and right hand side without equating it to 0. Wherein again we are getting back with our equations minus K minus BTR minus loss plus GT EIRP. So we have all these values here, right? Okay, now the next thing is compare this with the number which could be accommodated if no backoff was used. So let us say, I'm not going to use the 6 dB backoff. So what changes do I need to do in order to accommodate the system? The carrier to noise ratio determined for single carrier operation may be taken as a reference value, okay, and it may be assumed that the uplink noise and intermodulation noise are negligible. So as we know, uplink noise is very less, so we try to nullify it, or we try to neglect it. But then downlink noise cannot be neglected, okay, because that's going to be huge. So let us take all the values that's given in the question, right? We have the total bandwidth which is given, which is about 36 megahertz, right? And BTR, okay. So we're going to use the conversion formula, right? And so this is going to be in dB, right? The dB conversion 10 log, right? And we're going to get 75.56, right? Bandwidth, carrier bandwidth each is about 3 megahertz. Okay, so I convert it. Fine. And the reason why I'm doing this conversion is because all these are we know that whenever it's in a square, then it's in dB notations. So we get the values EARP, right? EARP is usually given in dB, so 27 is directly taken. G by T is 30, right? Losses given 196, so minus 196, and K, as we know, it's minus 228, so minus plus, and our BTR is going to be 75.56. So we should be getting a value of approximately about 14 dB. So that's going to be the downlink carrier to noise ratio, 14 dB. Now let's continue analyzing, and we will see that alpha is set equal to minus B naught. Okay, so as we saw here, the best that we can do is to achieve making equality between alpha and B naught. Okay, fine. So when we make this, okay, alpha is equal to minus 6, and we have the equation, right? So this is a standard equation. Please make note of this, right? K is equal to alpha plus BTR minus B. So we'll be using this. So alpha is minus 6. Okay. Then BTR, we had it here converted, 75.56 minus B. Okay. B here, the bandwidth, which is 64.77. So we have about 4.79. So there was a question, right? Where we don't have to. So I mentioned here in the last. So the value of K, okay. So K is equal to 10 raised to 4.79 divided by 10. Okay. So approximately it's about 3. The value of K is equal to 3. Okay. Now the backoff was not required. If the backoff was not required, which means if we don't consider this minus 6, okay, then what's going to happen? The number of carriers which could be accommodated would be BTR by B. Okay, so BTR by B, the value of B is known to us, right? BTR is also known to us. So if you can see that, right, BTR by B, right? So it should be giving us a value of about 12. So you can just cross verify that. Fine. So moving on, right, we will now be looking into TDMA downlink analysis, right? So here we also about the FDMA downlink analysis. Next we'll be learning about TDMA. So how is it different, right? How is FDMA? It is frequency division and it is time based, which is TDMA. So how is it different? Let us just look into it. The transponder power output for and bandwidth both impose limits on the system transmission capability. Okay, so the power required and the bandwidth. So always bandwidth limited, power limited. Bandwidth and power, these two are important factors. Okay, so keep in mind these two are important factors, and we don't have to which means anything that comes into picture, right, will be only with respect to these two limitations, bandwidth and power. With TDMA, right, TWT backup, which is traveling wave tube backup, is not generally required, which allows the transponder to operate in saturation. So we saw a graph, isn't it? And in that graph, right, I don't know if you can recall, right, we had it like this. and at one point, right, this was our saturation, and then from here we had 2 points where, for carriers, right, for single carrier and multiple carrier, there used to be a bifurcation. So this is nothing but my saturation point. Saturation point, yes. I want to make sure that I am always here in this point. Okay. One drawback arising from this is that the uplink station must be capable of saturating the transponder. So which means it should operate at this point, which means that even a low traffic capacity station requires completely large power output compared with that required for FDMA. So which means we are trying to come out with a better solution using TDMA, right? Okay. Right. As with the FDM and FDMA system analysis, it will be assumed that the overall carrier to noise ratio is essentially equal to downlink carrier to noise ratio. So just like how we had required, so required C by N is equal to C by N with respect to downlink. So here also we'll be doing the same assumptions. Okay. So we know that the bit rate, okay, is equal to C by N naught minus EB by N naught. We have seen this when dealing with televisions, with color televisions, calculating the bit rate. The same formula is used. Okay. Now this value that you see here, EB by N naught, okay, this ratio is determined by the BER value. Okay. So let us just see that graph here, right, which is bit error rate. Okay. So how this BER is related with EB and N naught. Okay. So the energy levels and noise levels. Okay. So if I say my system is about 10 raised to 5, okay, so I will be calculating, okay, that approximately where is it going to fall? It's going to fall here for 10 raised to 5. Okay, so at this point, so you can draw a straight line. Let me try that. Okay, so somewhere it's coming like about 9.56 or 9.7, something like that. Okay, so usually we use this kind of standard values. Okay, standard values, and we refer to this graph, and then we get the values for EB by N naught. So let's go back. Right. So the EB by N naught ratio is determined by the required bit error rate. Okay. So I've shown you in the figure. For example, a bit rate of bit error rate of 10 raised to minus 5 and 9.6. Yeah. So 10 raised to minus 5. So we saw that it was a little, below 10 and above 9.5. So about 9.6 is required. So if the rate, okay, if the bit rate is specified, then C by N ratio is determined as shown by this equation. Okay. So I can calculate the bit rate if I know the C by N value, and if BR value is given, right, so correspondingly I can refer to the graph and I can take the value of EB by N naught. Okay, so that is one thing. The bit rate is also constrained by the intermediate frequency bandwidth. Okay, and the ratio of bit rate to IF bandwidth is given by RB by intermediate frequency bandwidth is equal to M divided by 1 plus roll-off factor. So we have seen this roll-off factor, which is about 0.2. Okay, the normal value that we assume, okay, we have assumed so far, the roll-off factor is about 0.2. So M, we take it 1 for BPSK kind of signals, okay, and for QPSK we take it as 2, this value M, right? And the roll-off factor, the value of 0.2 is commonly seen. We have seen that before as well, right? So therefore my RB, okay, is equal to, okay, I take this on top, so M into BIF, okay, 1 plus 0.2, so it's 1.2. So if I can use this formula, M is anyway known that if it's a BPSK signal, I'm going to put the value of 1, and if it's a QPSK, then I'm going to put a value of 2, and this value also will be given. So it's easy for me to calculate the bit rate. Okay, so we saw this graph, and let us try to solve a simple example here. Okay. So the downlink, as I mentioned, the downlink value for C by N, this is what we concentrate on than the uplink, right? So the downlink value is given as 87.3, okay, and it is calculated for a TDMA circuit that uses QPSK modulation. So QPSK means my M value is going to be 2, okay. If suppose it was a BPSK, then I'll be using 1, right? And DR value is given 10 raised to minus 5, so which means I know that EB by N naught, okay, as you saw here, I put that lines, right? So it's going to be about 9.6, right? Calculate the maximum transmission rate and calculate, which means I'm talking about RB, the bit rate. Calculate also the intermediate frequency bandwidth, okay, which is BIF, required for a rolling factor of 0.2, okay. So from this figure, okay, we try to calculate, and we get the value of 9.65, okay, for bit error rate of 10 raised to minus 5. So RB, we have the standard value. What is RB? Standard formula, C by N naught minus EB by N naught. C by N naught is already given 87.3 minus EB by N naught. We got it because we knew bit error rate value. So minus 9.65. So it's going to give me about 77.65. So this is nothing but equal to about 58 Mbps. 58 Mbps. So every second, about 58. Right. So we were able to get these values based on the C by the bit rate value, which was given 10 raised to minus 5. So the simple thing is, I can just go back to this figure, okay, and calculate the value. Suppose this figure is not available, then in your exam point of view, I'll be just mentioning the values directly, right? Or you can just remember, because this is taken as standard, which is about 10 raised to minus 5. Always, most of the time, 99% it's taken. So you can assume it to be 9.6 or 9.65. So I get it about 77, okay, dB bits per second. And now let us say QPSK, right? So since QPSK, then M is equal to 2, and we'll be using the equation which we have seen before, BIF is equal to, okay. So I take this 58.21 into 1.2 divided by 2. So this 1.2 is nothing but 1 plus roll-off factor of 0.2, okay, divided by 2. So BIF, it's only BIF, right? So RB is there, M and RB into 1.2. So I know that my RB right now is about 58. So 58 is there, 58 into 1.2 divided by 2. So if I'm using a QPSK, right, so my value is going to be 34.9. So similarly, you can check out, right, if a BPSK is used, okay, then what is going to be the value. Okay, so I leave that for you to work out with, and you can come up with a different value here. Okay, now what do we understand by this? If the value of the transponder is about 36 megahertz, right? So we are occupying about 35, close to 35 megahertz, right? So which means 1 megahertz, 1.1 megahertz is not utilized, right? So we have slightly reduced it, bandwidth limited, in order to reduce the power consumption, right? So similarly, you can check out for BPSK, changing the value of M and what is the value that you're going to get here, right? So that can be worked out. Can just someone tell me quickly how much it's going to be when I put M is equal to 1 and M is equal to 1? I think only this change is going to happen, right? So what's going to be the value? Can someone tell me quickly? So we're going to multiply 58.21.
69.74.
So which means, that is not going to be helpful for us, right? BPSK. So we will be using QPSK. So there, the bandwidth utilization is going to be too high. So I'm not going to use BPSK. Instead, I'm going to stick with QPSK. So this is how, calculations are done, and this is how analysis is done, and we try to understand which system is better, what kind of signal I'm going to use for what application, right? So problems actually help us in understanding the real-time scenarios, how it's going to work out. So without working out, let's say I just pass off BPSK signal, it's not going to work out. Right? So QPSK is going to be the best for this kind of case conditions, okay, where I have BR of 10 raised to minus 5, C by and carrier to noise ratio of about 87. If not, then I'll have to work out with all of these values and I'll have to change out, right? Of course, the roll-off factor is going to remain the same, which is about 0.2, but the rest of the factors will be changed, the bit error rate and all this stuff. Fine then. So this is what I had planned for today's class. Okay, so we'll be left out with another 2, probably in my upcoming next class. Okay, we will try and cover them, and we'll try to discuss few important points as well. Okay, thank you.